Everybody ready?
Good to go?
Yep.
Does anybody need spelling?
Yes, please say your name and spell.
My name is Jeff Greenwalt. It's Jeffgreenwalt, and I'm the lieutenant over the Austin Police Department's homicide unit.
Sorry, your voice is so light.
I can pick that up if you need me to.
Yes, please.
Alrighty. We good to go?
Yes, sir.
In the last 24 hours, the Austin Police Department has responded to 2 murders, and we're here today to talk about those murders and ask for the public's help in providing tips so that we can further our investigations. I'm going to talk about the murder at Gibbons Park first, and we'll answer any questions that you guys have about that one before we go into the second one to make sure that we're keeping them separate. Last night, August 9th, at approximately 10:45 p.m., Charlie Sector patrol officers responded to a shots fired call at Gibbons Park, which is at 3911 East 12th Street. Upon arrival, they were able to locate a victim, a black male by the name of Andre Lanier Davis Jr. He's 47 years old, and he was pronounced deceased on scene. Based on preliminary investigation and some of the witnesses that were there, we believe that a possible motive for this incident was robbery. However, we believe that there's some additional details involved that we don't have yet. We do think that there was multiple people that were on scene at the time of the shooting who did not stay and talk to the police, and we're asking for their help. They can contact the Austin Police Department's homicide unit through our tip line or through Crime Stoppers, and they can give us information that they might have anonymously, or they can come in and provide a full statement. It's up to them. But we're asking for them to come in and talk to us about what they might know. We do believe that there were more than one suspect involved in this incident, and one of the suspects was described as being tall and stocky and was last seen wearing a black jacket. The suspects were seen leaving in a black Nissan or similar type vehicle shortly after the shooting and before police arrived. Does anybody have any questions regarding murder number 8?
What kind of gun was used in this shooting area?
There was some evidence that was taken from the scene, but we don't have specific information and nothing to provide at this time.
And was this a robbery of the victim, or where did the robbery occur?
It happened in the pavilion area of Gibbons Park, and we believe that it was a robbery of the victim.
Robbery. Do you know what was taken, or did they take anything?
We have several leads that we're following up on, but specific information like that is not something that we would normally release in the first few hours of a murder investigation.
And
How
do
many
you
shots
know?
were fired?
There was multiple shots that were fired. I don't have an exact number for you.
And do you know if the suspects knew the victim or if they knew each other?
That is something that we would like to further our investigation and follow up on. Right now, we're entertaining all possibilities. We'd like to know if there was some sort of previous relationship or if they were strangers. And we're really asking for the witnesses that were there on scene to provide us some background information. If there's any conversations that took place beforehand, if there's any words exchanged or anything like that, or the types of pieces of information that we want to know.
Did you say a gun was found at the scene? Sorry.
I did not say that.
Was a gun found at the scene?
We recovered a lot of evidence at the scene, but specific details like that, it's not something we would normally release in the first few hours of an investigation.
How would people, if people knew who was there or someone who took off, was rethinking, how would they get a hold of you? And is there a reward or anything for this?
Good question. They can always just call the homicide tip line directly, which is area code 512-477-3588, 1-800-CRIME STOPPERS, or the Crime Stoppers website, or the Crime Stoppers app, are all possibilities as well. And Crime Stoppers does offer rewards for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of suspects. I don't have a dollar amount at this time, but they usually start out as the up to $1,000 amount, and then as the investigation continues on, sometimes that changes.
Have there been any other robberies or assaults or anything in Gibbons Park recently?
I don't have any crime statistics on Gibbons Park. I will say that there's an ongoing community effort that's taken place, kind of a joint effort between the district representatives, street narcotics patrol. Our Metro Tactical team have been conducting a lot of operations in Gibbons Park, going door to door, talking to the neighborhood that lives around Gibbons Park and talking to some of the frequent patrons of the area, try to get a handle on what's going on over there and developing a plan. I also know that the Austin Police Department's senior leadership and executive staff is reaching out to some of the community community leaders and the stakeholders in the area to try to develop kind of a long-term solution to some of the issues that, the quality of life issues that have been going on in the area.
What do you mean by quality of life issues?
They are reporting open-air drug activity, loud noises, things like that.
Last question.
Is there any truth to the fact that the suspects may have been masked?
I don't have any specific information on that.
Thank you.
So murder number 9 this morning, early hours of this morning, April 10th, at approximately 3:53 a.m. IDA patrol officers responded to a shots fired call at the La Quinta Inn Hotel, which is located at 5812 North I-35 near 290 and 51st Street. And upon arrival, they were able to locate 2 victims. Both of them were transported to Del Seaton Medical Center. One of the victims died as a result of the injuries that he received, and the other one is currently in stable condition. The deceased is a Hispanic male, 38 years old. We're withholding the exact identity of the deceased at this time because we want to wait for an official identity, and we also want to notify next of kin before we release that information. In regards to this investigation, we know that there were multiple shooters, and we know that there was a lot of people involved, and we're really asking for the public's help. If anybody heard anything, if anybody saw anything, if anybody has contacted them after this happened and given any information as to what happened, we would like for them to contact us at the same numbers and the same methods that we mentioned earlier. We know that one of the vehicles that left the scene, a black Dodge Charger, was in fact recovered abandoned in the Riverside and 35 area, and we were able to tow that vehicle for evidentiary purposes, and the search warrants are pending on that. We do believe it was related to the investigation, and we have that vehicle in our custody at this time. Are there any questions about this investigation?
What's
Do
the
you know what
motive
the
for
two-
this shooting?
I'm sorry.
What's the motive for this one?
We're not completely sure. We are in a beginning stages of the investigation, and we were unable to talk to the second victim because he's still at the hospital in a medical condition where he can't talk. So we want to talk to some of the witnesses who were there. We want to talk to anybody who may have information so that we can figure that out.
What are the relations between the 2 men that were injured? Are they friends?
We don't have specific information on that, and I would just say that that's part of the investigation that we're trying to figure out as well.
Okay, so you don't know if they were together, or if they were shot at different times?
It was all one incident.
They were in the same spot when the shooting started?
It all happened in the La Quinta Inn parking lot.
Yeah.
Was the shooting random or targeted?
That's one of the pieces of information that we would like to know. I think subsequent investigation will show that, and when we do a subsequent press release, when we have information, several days from now, I hope to be able to answer that question.
And you said there were multiple suspects. Do you know how many, and do you know if the 2 men were staying at the La Quinta Inn?
I don't have any information to say that they were staying there. We believe that at this time, we don't believe anybody was staying there. We do believe that there were multiple shooters.
Okay, multiple shooters.
Last question?
A couple months ago, Chief Manley announced an initiative bringing outside officers into the downtown district to focus on crime there. Do you know if that initiative has any impact on responding to a situation like this in the north part of Austin?
I don't have any information on that.
And you don't know if the 2 shootings are connected at all? The one from last night and the one this morning?
I think because it's such an early hour of both of these murders, and we were less than basically 13 hours in, we're looking at all possibilities.
Thank you.
There were no arrests, right?
No arrests.